There's firewood for 2 weeks. I'm going to the Maldives with my boyfriend, and taking every dollar you own. Snow was collecting in my wife's hair as she said it. She was standing in the door of a running SUV. Behind her, a man I'd spent 3 weeks secretly investigating sat wearing sunglasses, in the middle of a snowstorm, like he already had 1 foot on a private jet. Oh, she added, climbing in. I changed the locks on your apartment. Don't bother trying to get back before we're gone. I stood on the porch of a cabin 200 miles from Dallas. 12 days post-surgery. Staples still healing under my shirt. I watched her tail lights vanish into the trees. And I smiled. Because Meredith had no idea what was waiting for her at the airport in 6 hours. My name is Alexander Whitfield. 41 years old. Until 4 months ago, I was chief operating officer of a logistics empire I'd helped build from 11 employees in a strip mall to over 400 people. I use the past tense on purpose. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly why, and why I chose it myself. This isn't a story about a man who got destroyed. This is a story about what happens when you underestimate the quiet one, the one who's had weeks to prepare for the moment you think is your victory. Part 1, The Crack. 11 years of marriage. A dream life in Preston Hollow. Then one Tuesday morning, a $340 charge appeared on our statement. Elevate Wealth Circle. A coaching program, she said, barely looking up from her phone. Then the gym trips that ran 3 hours long. The phone that started vanishing into her purse. And a name that kept slipping into dinner conversation like I was supposed to already know it. Preston. I didn't confront her. I didn't snoop. 11 years running freight operations across 9 states teaches you one rule: the person who reacts first, loses. So I made one call. To a forensic accountant. It took her 11 days to blow my entire marriage apart. Part 2, The Truth. Elevate Wealth Circle wasn't coaching. It was an unregistered investment scheme. My wife had wired $61,000 of her own money into it. And Preston? His real name was Dale Kessler, a man with fraud judgments in 2 states and an active FBI investigation already circling him in 4. The playbook: charm wealthy, unhappy women. Position himself as a guru. Slowly move their money into his accounts. Vanish before the walls close in. My wife wasn't just having an affair. She was funding a fraud. And she'd started moving our joint money too, ***. The forensic accountant looked me dead in the eye and said, ***, I don't think she knows yet that you know. ***. She had no idea what was coming. Part 3, The Trap. I didn't scream. I didn't confront her in the kitchen. I spent 6 weeks getting ready. Moved $2.4 million into an ironclad, fully legal trust, completely out of reach. Left one joint account untouched, looking exactly as it always had. Bait. Quietly arranged my resignation and equity buyout so nothing could drag my company down. And had my lawyer file a sealed emergency court order, ready to freeze every joint account the instant she or her boyfriend tried to spend a dime. All I needed was the right moment. I didn't know yet the moment would come at an airport. Part 4, The Setup I Never Saw Coming. Then I ended up in emergency surgery. Ruptured appendix. While I was still stapled together and drugged on painkillers, Meredith suggested we go to the cabin. You need quiet, she said. No stress. I said yes. Partly because I couldn't argue. Partly because it fit my plan even better than she knew. We arrived Tuesday. A freak snowstorm buried the property by Wednesday. She was almost tender that first night. Soup. Blankets. And some small, stupid part of me almost let myself believe I'd gotten it wrong. Then Wednesday, a 40-minute phone call on the porch, in freezing cold, cheeks flushed after. Thursday, a 20-minute grocery run that took 5 hours. I already knew. Because 2 people, my lawyer and my accountant, already knew exactly where I was, and exactly what was coming. Part 5, The Abandonment. Thursday afternoon. An SUV pulls up. Dale Kessler steps out, sunglasses, snowstorm, smug. Meredith walks past me with a packed bag I never saw her fill. There's firewood and food for 2 weeks. I'm going to the Maldives with my boyfriend, and I'm taking every dollar of your savings. She took my phone. Changed my locks. And left a man 12 days out of abdominal surgery, alone, in a snowbound cabin, 200 miles from anyone. Except she didn't know about the satellite communicator hidden at the bottom of my duffel bag. I sent 2 messages. One to my lawyer, asterisk she's made her move. Serve the order the second the cards get used. Asterisk. One to a retired game warden who checked on the cabin every winter. Then I sat down. And waited. Part 6, The Collapse. That evening, Meredith and Dale walked up to the international check-in counter at DFW. Boarding passes in hand. Maldives bound. Her card declined. A second card declined. A third. While she stood there panicking, 2 FBI agents walked up and pulled Dale Kessler aside. He didn't run. There was nowhere to run. Not with an arrest warrant waiting from 3 states. Seconds later, a process server stepped up to Meredith, right there at the gate, in front of a full security line, and handed her a divorce petition and an emergency asset freeze. She never made it past the checkpoint. She watched the man she left her husband for get walked away in handcuffs, while every account she thought she controlled went dead in her hand. Part 7, The Reckoning. Dale Kessler now faces up to 15 years for fraud across 4 states. Meredith's own wire transfers became key evidence against him. In court, my lawyer argued that abandoning a spouse recovering from major surgery in a snowbound cabin, while secretly funding a stranger's fraud, was more than enough for a Texas judge to award a lopsided division of our marriage. The judge agreed. She walked away with roughly 9% of what a 50-50th split would have given her, not 1 cent of the trust. A legal bill that took her over a year to pay off. She sold her half of our house and moved into a rental, back doing the same leasing job she had before she decided our marriage wasn't enough. 6 months later, I opened my own firm. For the first time in years, every decision is mine, and mine alone. I still own the cabin. Every winter I go back, sit on that same porch, and remember watching those tail lights disappear, knowing, with total certainty, that I was going to be fine. People who win aren't the loudest ones in the room. They're the ones already 3 moves ahead, before the other side even knows there's a game being played. If this story hit you, you know exactly what I mean.